So hey guys, it's Stephanie, and a few days ago I got to go book shopping with a few other booktubers, and those were Howe, Olive from ABookOlive, Emma from ABookishPrincess, and Rebecca from the Booknester. We were out in the Cream Ridge, New Jersey area. We hit up two great bookstores, and of course I think all of us are going to be putting up our hauls sometime soon, so you can look out for that. It was so much fun. Unfortunately, I don't think anyone vlogged during that whole thing because we were just having too much fun. We were too in the moment, and it's just weird to pull out a camera. So these were the books I got this weekend when I went out to our Booktuber Meetup. The first one is a book I've been wanting to read for a long time. I'm finally getting around to it. My friend Rachel read it in high school and she really liked it. And that is Jay Anson's The Amityville Horror. If you are unfamiliar with the original movie, I think it came out in the 70s, or the movie that came out in the 2000s with Ryan Reynolds. This is classified as nonfiction. This is about a family that moves into a almost too good to be true home in New York, and it does turn out that it is a little too good to be true. They got a wonderful deal, but crazy stuff starts happening. I really enjoyed the recent movie. I have not seen the original, but I watched the 2000s one and I really enjoyed the story, so I am interested to read this. This is a mass market paperback and the font looks really big, so I don't think it'll take me too long to get through this, but I'm interested to see if there's any differences between this and the movie. So yeah, Amityville Horror. The next book I got is also nonfiction. I did see this on someone's channel. I think it was Julie from A Girl in a Book, but I am not 100% sure. So I don't know. It's weird to say, like, if this was you, let me know. So if you have read this book, I guess, let me know. This is The Indifferent Stars Above. This is a story, not a story, it's nonfiction, but this is about the Donner Party. This was written by Daniel James Brown. Donner Party is, I feel like, a very infamous American story about a large group that was trapped in the Sierra Mountains in Nevada during one treacherous winter, and of course they infamously turned to cannibalism. So I am really interested to read this. I have a hard time getting into nonfiction. I feel like it just has to be something like crazy and gruesome for me to get into it. So I'm hoping this will do the trick. The next book I picked up was classified as horror, and I just loved the cover. This is The Sad Tale of the Brothers Grossbart. And I look at that cover and that artwork. It's a skull, but it's like the two men and they're holding like a money bag. It's just like, I love it. It's so nice. I'll read the back. It's like 2 sentences. The year is 1364. Hungry creatures stalk the dark woods of medieval Europe, and both sea and sky teem with unspeakable horrors. There is no foulness, however, no witches nor demon, to rival the grave-robbing twins of Hegel and Manfred Grossbart. This is their tale, sad but true. So it might be an oversimplification, but I mean, the brothers kind of sound like a medieval Sam and Dean Winchester type duo where they're fighting against these supernatural forces, which did sound really interesting. And again, the cover, gorgeous, had to have it. And next, I also got another nonfiction. This is Susan Bordeaux's The Creation of The Creation of Anne Boleyn. I may have mentioned before, I have like a weird obsession with Anne Boleyn. I actually, when my high school held a Renaissance fair, I played Anne Boleyn, and I was like really obsessed with like the Tudor dynasty in England, like when I was a teenager, and I just read everything about them. So this is interesting, and this claims to, I know every book claims to be like the real story, but I feel like Anne Boleyn has a bit of a reputation. Like she's kind of portrayed as this like manipulative seductress. So it'll be interesting to see what this book has to say about her, because she is, it says, England's most notorious queen. So we'll see what they say. The second I got also nonfiction, and this is The Verbivore's Feast, and it just says it's by Christie the Wordsmith. Each entry just has like one page or like a paragraph, and it's just origins of sayings and the history of them. It's kind of I guess that's like etymology, like word origins, but I thought it was really interesting because it had like phrases that we say and how those phrases came to be. So I'm interested to kind of look through this and see if I can learn a few things. The next book I got is one I have been meaning to read, especially this is one that is talked about constantly by Hanaa over at Craving Books. And this is Bret Easton Ellis's American Psycho. I have seen the Christian Bale movie, so I am a little scared. It'll be interesting to read this. When the girl rang me up at the bookstore, she's like, oh, this is like even worse than the movie. The movie was pretty crazy, so it'll be interesting to see how crazy Bret Easton Ellis gets with this. The next book I got, I am doing a buddy read. I think it's starting today with Kate Howe and Whitney over at All the Shelves, and that is William Faulkner's Light in August. We all buddy read As I Lay Dying together earlier this year and just had a lot of fun and really enjoyed it, which is not something I ever thought I would say about Faulkner. But just reading it with those two just made it such a great experience, and we just had so much to talk about. So we decided to do another Faulkner together. So this is Light in August. It's definitely a lot bigger than As I Lay Dying, but I will get back to you on how that experience was. This next book I have been reading through, and it is super interesting. It's nonfiction. It's called Quirkology, How We Discover the Big Truths in the Small Things, and it was written by Richard Weissman, PhD. But this guy, he just does a bunch of social experiments. Like, he has hosted like fake seances and hosted like art exhibits just for the sake of watching people and studying them. And I just read a chapter on liars and lying, and it was just really, really interesting. So I think this is one of the first ones I'm going to get to, just because it has been super, super interesting. And I have always been really interested in human behavior and body language and how like the choices you make reveal certain things about you. So I am definitely really, really excited to read this. These next two I am not going to talk too much about because I showed them. Kate and I both filmed a video together. We each put one up on our channel. I did a Friday Reads and she did a book haul. I will put the link to the video down below. We went to some independent bookstores out in her area, and I picked up Sarah Waters' The Little Stranger. In the video, like, I did not know what this was about, so in the video I'm like, and this is about, you know what, it just looks like something I'd like. So I still don't exactly know what it's about. I think I heard Leslie say it's a haunted house type story, but I'm not 100% sure. I just know it's supposed to be horror, maybe a little more of a gothic tale. I have heard great things about it, so I'm looking forward to finally read some Sarah Waters and hopefully like her and have her an author I keep going back to. And then the next one I cannot wait to read, and this is The Lives of Others by Neil Mukherjee. This seems like a family drama set in India. So it looks like it was shortlisted for the Man Booker Prize, I want to say in 2014. So I am super, super excited to read this. The next I got is also, I did a lot of horror novels this haul. Went to both bookstores and like immediately went to the horror section. This is Fledgling by Octavia E. Butler, and it looks like this book is about a vampire. I feel like after my shameful Twilight years in early high school, I have kind of shied away from vampires in horror. I feel like a lot of people have, so I do think this is good for me to give that subgenre another try. So I will try this. Also, I haven't read anything by Octavia E. Butler, and I am really interested to see how her and I get along. This next book, shocker, also horror. I saw on Katie's channel, Katie at ChapterStackss, this is The Ruins by Scott Smith. I believe this is one of her like favorite horror novels. I think she did a video on like her top 10, and this was on there. This is about people vacationing in Mexico and just terrible things happening to them. I think the inside flap said like this did for Mexico what Jaws did for like the beach. So hopefully I'm not too like terrified to like ever go to Mexico again, but it looks really, really good. I have honestly heard nothing but really good things about this when other people have read it too. So I'll be looking forward to reading this. And the last book I got was more of just a fun buy. So it's kind of a horror slash English. This is called the Deluxe Transitive Vampire. And this is a grammar book, but the example sentences are like horror sentences. It'll say like, she was bit by a vampire, passive voice. So it's really fun. This is just a fun book that I needed to have, I needed to pick up. It's not something I'm gonna reference often, but I will look through it. I just thought it was really funny and just totally me, just combined two things that I love. I just absolutely had to have it. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope to see you again soon. Have you guys read any of the books that I have hauled? If you have, please let me know. I do love to hear thoughts on books that I have bought. I love to hear what other people's experiences are with books that I have picked out before I read them. So if you've read any of them, please let me know. Thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you again soon.